Welcome back, guys. We're here after game number 1, where the Jin Air GreenWings really took it to the Sharks and made a statement, essentially, saying we're going to be the team that goes up to LCK. We deserve to be there, but the Sharks, they're going to have to fight back. It's only one game. We'll see if they can turn it around, because game 1, honestly, looked quite weak.
Was an interesting one where Jin Air had a really impressive early game. Sees if we had promotion series MVPs would have taken this one in a walk. He would definitely have picked it up. Some amazing early game path. Then it stalled out, that lull state we always talk about. Threatened to just allow ES Sharks to scale through, but in the end, the crimes of the draft, where they were a little bit too on the scaling side and not enough respect, meant that the Olaf didn't get much done, meant that the draft didn't get together, and the map control ended up being the big reason they went down. What adjustments will ES Sharks make in game number 2, pray tell? I think a first pick Rek'Sai is going to be selected if it's left open by Jin Air GreenWings.
Does feel that way. The last time around, the Sharks did ban out Jarvan in the first round, so they didn't even get a chance to pick up the Jarvan after Jin Air just said thank you very much, we'll take the Rek'Sai. But instead of picking it, they're actually just going to ban it straight away. So seems like some focus on the jungle bans here for this series for the Sharks.
Would only have had one clean day to prep for this series with the ES Sharks. Jin Air had the benefit watching on as ESS motored to a victory over VSG over the course of 5 games. Like you mentioned after the end of game 1, 3-0 win streak so far for Jin Air against the ES Sharks in this tournament, 2-0. First round, Robin, first round of this double elimination. Final ban here for the Sharks. Morgana going to be banned, so a lot is left open that has been taken away before. Galio available, if you would remember from the first series. Kalista banned away again. The Jarvan, of course, available as well. So what is the final ban? It's going to be Lissandra by the side of Jin Air. So the Jarvan first picks haven't really paid off, and this is what I would have expected, the Galio. But do we see a rollback of Olaf versus Jarvan, pray tell, is what I wonder. Because right now, we're waiting for Cash to find a victory on a champion that isn't Rek'Sai or Jarvan, and the Olaf was not convincing.
Take a look at what C's wants to play here. It's pretty obviously Jarvan up towards the top is going to be the first pick. So another one of those junglers where you can pull off some early ganks and get stuff going just like he did in game 1.
I wouldn't mind Tahm Kench in this spot. I'm getting an update that we might actually have to restart the champ select. So right now we're seeing hovers, and that's why you are surprised by the crash out. You know, it's been done. It's so passé. Viper's 2-0 career on Teemo. And you know what? I'd asked him about more Teemo, and it seems like it might say 2-0.
I mean, you got to go out when you're on top, right? You got to keep Teemo undefeated here, as you guys saw the issue straight up. It is just the monitor gone. Nice that we can see with the angles that we do have here in the LCK arena. So let's get our wonderful refs to handle this piece of equipment, and we'll be getting into this one straight away.
Quick reset here. Global fans in the audience, people passing through. Definitely
that was the quickest peace sign I've ever seen.
Available. Hey, people are responding. We like to see it.
Real quick.
This is the last chance everyone gets if you're visiting Korea and wanted to watch a match day. You have today and today only. Otherwise, it's going to be a while till we get going again, so we can go around. You notice, definitely a lot more full than we were a couple of days ago. The Jin Air fans, they're hoping for the Glad plane. I see an Amumu and a Teemo on this sign.
It says, please play top Teemo. And
have you played with any top Amumu
Jin Air
recently?
Whiting, and it's midterms, actually. 2 days left. So
have you felt the the top Amumu craze in solo queue recently? I've had 3 of them. That feels like a lot of top Amumu.
Is that just because of his recent buffs?
I can't tell. I can't tell if it was a failed Nunu with Ghost Cleanse attempt or whether it was a legitimate thing, but one of them won, so you know. 33% for my solo queue isn't too bad.
Amumu, his kit is quite interesting.
It's not so good in the top lane.
Yeah.
with your no ranged abilities apart from a full commitment on the Q.
Yeah, it's like Remus, except you're less tanky.
I mean, he's okay.
And you kind of do less damage as well.
Amumu's damage underrated, and you would build AP top lane. You wouldn't build AP Rammus unless you really didn't want to play that game. Ghost,
well,
seems to be considering what he's going to be playing in game number 2. I said Ghost, I mean
you
Grace.
said Ghost.
For some reason, I just can't get to Grace.
Wrong
I think
team.
of Kuzan, I think of Ghost. Hi, Grace. Your LeBlanc was pretty damn good in game number 1, so I'm down with him playing it again. Could have been considered as a ban, Valdez, but we didn't see it. That is probably not something that we're going to share, G-Sun, but thank you for the update. Just technical issues with getting into the game 2 lobby.
Speaking of power cords, I actually, I accidentally left my computer on overnight, and it burned and melted and connected to the computer. I had to go get it fixed for like 120 bucks.
Wow. I feel like
thankfully the house didn't burn down.
I was going to say, like, it feels like you got way lucky.
Yeah,
not unlucky
absolutely.
There. That seems like you could have had some new things to buy.
It was definitely a monk-ass moment when I checked the back of my computer. I'm like, why isn't it turning on? I wonder what happened. And yeah, my power cord was melted, quite literally. So we're gonna get in and do the same bans and picks up until the team.
And if you're watching and haven't been watching Korean League of Legends until today, and you're looking for some mind-melting power chords of your own, Sona is very unlikely to come out. No Sona turret priority in this particular tournament. Morgana, the final ban, like you say, we're just going straight through until we see if Cease does take the Tahm Kench to Galio that we were maybe suspecting.
Would imagine that Jarvan is still considered a pick that you have to go for. They immediately lock that in. They don't waste any time as Tahm Kench, Prophet Papa, is on board here for game 2.
When you see the Morgana ban, they're actually trying to get a power 2v2 bot lane to try to dump on the 2v2, and thus Tahm Kench priority goes way up. It's the only other quasi-answer to some big plays from the old Gargoyle. Speaking of big plays, this would be a departure from Catch, and it's a welcome one. Usually, we see quite a lot of Lee Sin in LCK, but we have some specialists over there. Catch going to be jumping onto a pick that he plays from time to time, but first, Lee Sin of the promotion tournament for Catch.
Like that he's really trying to explore, but, well, okay. The Galio and the Kai'Sa most likely going to be in the bottom lane as Varus is snatched up immediately.
But then it doesn't really feel like you really hunkered down on what you were trying to draw for with the first pick, Galio, right? Because you really targeted 2 bot laners trying to get a winning lane, and now Varus Tahm Kench is like the god tier of the kind of champions that were left open at this point. So we're gonna like Varus Tahm Kench, and it doesn't even require Soraka to get the winning 2v2, and it can be done in the first round. So I really like what Jin Air has been able to claim. Feels like a bit of a heist in the first round on red side. They've got access to a guaranteed counter pick coming later as well. They start banning away some of the Jisu specials. One of them, the newest one actually, the Akali, taken off the rift.
His Akali was good, and Grace's LeBlanc was also spectacular. So we're not going to be seeing that this time around. Pretty uncommon to pick it this early, so I like saving the ban for the second round.
And the LeBlanc ban, I think, is smart because you're thinking Lindarang will want a counter pick. You remember the Rise game in the first series, and him with priority seems good. You might consider banning Kennen just to stop them going Kennen first and then reevaluate on their final pick for mid lane, but you're trying to ban away comfort, but also champions who have lane priority in many lanes. Now, we could see Galio flex to mid. We shouldn't fully discount that possibility. Corki and Kennen are the picks I'm thinking about for the side of Jin Air. See what the decision is from Sharks. And actually going to ban Zoe, champion whose priority in this tournament has been higher than recent times, as I sprayed you there with my excitement at the Zoe.
Wow. Got some poison spray on my jacket. Thank you, Papa. Or Poison Smithy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do pick up here for what should be a blind pick into the mid lane.
Yeah, we would think Lindarang last pick, but the Kennen was the one kind of other one we mentioned, right? That was the lip service we brought is, you can also Kennen and be fine in literally every matchup. That's what Gunblade Klepto Kennen has provided. There's no matchup where Kennen has no value. You can get through almost anything. So don't mind the Kennen here at all. Does mean that Grace will be waiting. He's got an Ignite, so hopeful that will mean something spicy. Now, Smeb was able to get through the Kennen top matchup better than we first suspected with Klepto KO. Will we see the KO here? The answer is no, and they're going back to the GP in game number 2.
No snail this time around. As let's look at them picking their runes. Well, you got to pick your champion first. GuGer for your team. As the Corki, it's just sticking out like a sore thumb as one of those.
How's Grace's Lucian?
Laners.
If they take Lucian here, they have 3 winning lanes again.
Do it.
Lucian here is god tier pick for Grace. They even have Top Kennen. Come on,
MVP.
Show me the Lucian. You can do it.
Papa will not be satisfied with anything else.
Talia would definitely not be on the same level of Lucian pick in the mid lane, but maybe they don't feel confident in closing out a game and having the same struggle that ES Sharks did in the previous game. They actually subvert both picks and go the way of Syndra. Again, Hexdrinker does a number on the Syndra, but Syndra does fight back earlier against the Corki and will have some priority. It's not quite the Lucian level of counter pick, but the draft from Jin Air has been able to recreate a lot of lane power. And it's a sort of draft that once again could potentially run over the Sharks. And yes, that wasn't enough ultimately to get a 25-minute win like Jin Air may have hoped for in game number 1. But a win is a win. There's no asterisks when one team goes to Challengers and one team remains in the LCK.
It's a whole split of being back in Challengers versus another chance to avoid relegation for Jin Air. And I feel like it's going to come out of, surprisingly even, this backup jungler in Seas, who has been looking quite fantastic. Gets another pretty good early game jungler in the Jarvan once again. Is going to be up against this Lee Sin, which is definitely a bit of a question mark for the side of the Sharks.
And the big question mark to me is honestly the player, Catch, because Seas schooled him in game number 1. Like, that was huge performance from Seas.
Jungle difference.
It was a jungle difference game, and now Catch, with a jungle difference in terms of agency, remember Lee Sin, not quite Jarvan when it comes to level 2 especially, has to find a way to at least battle ward when the Jarvan is going to be EQing around, and Seas is not one to wait for level 3 on Karthus, so yeah, you better have eyes on him. How about a level 1 invade to at least get some cards revealed on the side of Jin Air GreenWings?
I'll have to wait and see. You guys took a look at the comps here. Grace going back to his Syndra of old. We'll have to wait and see if they can stand up to the Sharks once again in game 2. The difference in the audience is palpable between the fans, as Doran's ring is going to be the start here for Light's Kaisa.
Wants the double pots, because actually the Varus outrange on the Kaisa, and whether it's the Comet build, which you see much more infrequently in Korea, or just the very standard lethal tempo, Varus is a champion, will at all moments beat Kaisa as a champion in the laning phase. So because of that, outside of some crazy double flash all in, you need the extra potions. So it's actually fine to go Doran's ring. Now this does actually impact something, Valdez. It impacts when the breakpoints happen if you go the standard meta build in Korea, specifically of the Rageblade Stormrazor. So this is almost certainly not going to be Stormrazor from Light. He's almost certainly going to be going Blade the Rowan King that we saw one time previously in this tournament. Because if you go Stormrazor into the Rageblade, you need level 12 to hit the spikes you wanted to get enough AD. So it's much more unlikely that you go that way.
You can see that Light's overall record is 10-2 on Kaisa, and Catch is 8-3 on the Lee Sin. So that early priority on a couple of those champs begins to make sense.
It's definitely something that ES Sharks would do. They would first round Kaisa, they would early pick Kaisa, they'd make it work. Remember, the overall level of duo lanes in Challengers Korea are not going to be super high. And then focus all the resources topside. That's a return to the Kaisa But given the lane matchup, it's a bold one, and Light has definitely struggled in this tournament so far. So grinning and bearing it involves double potion star and potentially some different itemization.
See a lot of yellow on the left side. And even on the right side, a lot of precision this time around from both of them. A lot of free boots and biscuits on the side of the Sharks for trying to get through some of these lanes. And what's going on in the jungle here as we had a devour on the catch, who didn't seem to mind all too much. Picks up the blue.
Credit to ES Sharks, they're doing something early game. And it's not a counter gank like we talked about, but just a proactive move there. Kuzan still has flash.
Jarvan with that passive can dunk you a bit with the red, but a Valkyrie's going to be enough.
During the off-season, I'm going to ask Riot Games Korea if they can produce a jungle heat map like SpoTV used to do and compare Cease's pathing on a jungler to any other Korean jungler, and it's going to be such a heat map in lanes. A lot of jungle proximity as well. Cease trying to take a blue buff steal, but he's been revealed with a low mana bar, so he's definitely going to need help to pull this off.
You can see that the pushing top and mid lanes are going to come in, and you can just get it down. I love that play. You don't think about that all too often. Just able to take it out of the pit and give it straight to your jungler and not make it a trade.
That was really well engineered. We talked about Grace coming in, and we didn't even mention that possibility. Now, this is actually a quite bold cleanse. They might as well start fighting. They've already used the summoner, and they knew there was no way the jungle could be there, or Nova kind of spaced out to the jungle path.
Cleanse comes in, but they do get that flash out of GuGer, who went a bit far.
Here's Lee Sin, catch actually on the map.
Yeah, looking for that Q, struggling to get in range. Wants the slow burst, but he's gonna pay for it. Has to flash away, and one more auto will do it. Sees again, gonna pick up first blood.
This new synergy between Seas and Grace is awesome. Grace paths down towards his jungler's angle. Jarvan comes in. Jarvan, enough said, able to make it work. Really nice kill. It requires a couple of summoners, but 2-for-1 summoner trade and a kill. You'll definitely take it as Jin Air.
Absolutely, as Seas once again proving that he is the better jungler in this matchup. Catch waiting. Wanted to get the slow before he actually threw down a Q. Didn't want to miss for that sure damage, but didn't factor in the Jarvan.
Now, I'm reminded of a Korean jungler who made his name in the promotion tournament and went on to play in bigger stages. Watching Seas, a player who we knew very little about. Just to give you some information on Seas. 18 years old, born December 7th, 2000, so we'll turn 19 in the year, so one of our younger players for sure. First pro team is Jin Air. Never been on another squad, at least in terms of the stats that we have available to us. So the player he reminds me of was actually flawless playing for Suspended Sonic Boom in the promotion tournament. Nice flash from Nova gets him away, so both summoners are used. Flawless currently jungling for Jingdong Gaming in the LPL final, went on to bigger and better places. While Cease didn't debut in this tournament, his level of play has taken another level, and he's a jungler I'm really excited to watch start on Jin Air if we do see them back in LCK Summer 2019.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think about other subs that are behind names.
Summit.
You know, names that we all recognize. Like, everybody kind of knew Malrang, who was around for a bit here in the LCK and in Challengers, and then all of a sudden it's like finally Seas gets a chance to play, and it's like, oh, you guys had this guy on the bench the entire time? I mean, obviously he did start playing towards the end of LCK, but the more he plays, the more we like.
And I don't fault Jin Air for taking their time. And you might say, but Papa Smithy, they lost all their series and they went 1-17. If he was playing, they might have won more. And yes, I can't fully discount that. There's no hindsight there. Remember, he was never in kind of this pro circuit until now. And coming in and getting to understand the gaming culture and living in a gaming house and scrim culture. Like, I'm sure there was a lot of kind of training wheels required to get him stage ready, because we saw him play, you know, something like 8 to 10 games in LCK Summer and LCK Spring, and there was some moments, but, you know, he wasn't the full package. And yes, it's the promotion tournament. He's got a lot to kind of fall back on. His performance here has been very impressive. It's the sort of thing where now, given that he was blooded when he was ready, that he's got these games under his hood when he was ready, he should be so confident coming into Summer, and we'll be able to equate him very differently having seen these games.
Yeah, and you say coming into summer, if they do end up winning this series, would be one of the major reasons they even get there. One of the major reasons, rather, in a major region. So, really got to hand it to him, trying to make it happen for his team, his first and only team, you mentioned, of Jin Air.
Soft boots rush him in his top lane.
Oh boy, Lindarang baiting this pretty well. We'll see if they can get that second stun. Does come down, sees. Not having his flash. If he did, he could flash ult and kill Jisu there. So at least they're going to get the summoner out of Jisu.
I assume he was half a Teemo away from being in Cataclysm range. I feel like Cataclysm is what, like 250, 300 cast range? It's not huge. So it looks very, very close. They get the summoner. Hard to say whether Seas was just like, look, I'm not going to kill him. I just want the flash. So I don't know if that was next level shot calling and using the minimum to get the maximum, but no Cataclysm used. Flash down on Jisu, and like you're kind of alluding to, next time's the charm when it comes to killing the GP.
GP going to have to play it a bit safer up in the top side in a lane that's already not fantastic. As C's coming down to the bottom side, Chains of Corruption. They're going to get the knockup, but Light is going to survive. We also do have Catch here, but look at the Varus damage! Flashing forward is rude. He wants blood down in this bottom lane, as C's going to try to slow down this Lee Sin. One more arrow will do it, unfortunately. She's sticking around a little bit too long. Nice turnaround by Catch, but the double kill to Varus in the bot lane.
But no buster transferred as Catch picks up the kill. I assume with the red smite as he dies. Could have been a final auto, hard to say. 2 for 1, and turned out Cataclysm was very useful. Straight back on the map is seized. They get a lot of inroads on this. That's a big moment for the side of Jin Air.
Jisu having fun with his cancels there, but we'll take another look at the play.
Jin Air's duo lane plays this really well. Cataclysm comes in. They don't face check necessarily. The Devour was held onto and used on the one member, and now damage is done. Light and GuGer ain't doing no damage. They're out of the fight completely, and Catch just gets turned on by 2. Jin Air play this skirmish much better. Like you were noting with the Varus damage, it's huge, right? That's what happens when Varus gets going. Oh, this was a play off-screen, I guess, to how it all begun.
He's gonna snipe him here. Yeah, there it is. The replay route is just flexing. Okay. Speaking of flexing, looks like the kick is back up for Catch somehow. He's going to be able to kick him out of that one and be safe.
It feels like we're living this game out of order for a second there. I was like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah.
That's like the equivalent of when a solo kill happens and the observers miss it, and you're like, well, the summoners were used, so I can guess this is how the fight looked. But this time we were just staring too intently into the sun, and now we're blind for a second. But take it all away. Light died after all of that action. He's building the Blade of the Ruin King like we talked about with his Doran's Ring start. That means he needs double pickaxe to get anywhere going. His second evolve is going to be later than usual. He's not going for the min-max build most people do. And as we noted, Root is way ahead, Valdez. He's 3-0. He has a 650 bounty in the old system. This Varus is raid boss status, and they picked Kai'Sa into Varus.
They did. And Varus pick really working out for them this time around. Able to get another plate down in the bottom lane. Will he stop here? No, it looks like we're going for one more. As should mention, the Sharks were able to pick up the Rift Herald right at 10 minutes, so you'll notice that with this rotation, they'll be trying to go for a top turret play.
Yep, gonna have to try to make something happen, and any objective with how the early game has gone is a very welcome one. It shuts down some of the cannon impact. Lindarang's going on hit cannon completely, by the way. He's pressed the attack. We didn't even notice that one. So he's for lane. Remember that he's for lane. If he wants to be in a 1-3-1 or a 4-1, more likely, I would say. So the 4-1 is happening, and on hit cannon wins the 1 the hardest, and the 4 includes Syndra Varus, which are pretty damn sick in a siege game. Teleport from Grace. Trying to get too many inroads. When the 4-1 starts, there's no real item build for Jisu to beat on hit cannon, and then this Varus is going to be huge.
Good read too. Didn't look like they had much information in the jungle, and sees spots them with the flag, trying to get in the jungle. Look at the difference in gold in the bottom lane. That's over 2,000 gold ahead for Root.
And to put all our cards on the table, when I was thinking about how this matchup would look, because seemed pretty evident early that we would have Jin Air versus ES Sharks in a best-of-5 series. I thought that ES Sharks solo lanes would actually be able to do a number on Jin Air, given that Lindarang, Grace, and the other members they've used, they had Chongo mid and top. They never really got any synergy, and Kuzan and Jisu were both legitimately impressive in Challenger. But I knew that Jin Air would win games 2v2 through bot, because Root and Nova, Root and Kellen, Root X has been better than quite a few bot lanes in Korea over the course of 2019. And this is the bot difference game. The jungle difference, that was a welcome surprise. The bot difference expected, but this is certainly some bot difference going on.
Definitely what we expected coming into this one, and once again, Jin Air off to a fantastic start. This one, though, is much more palpable. You can feel it. They're ahead by more earlier. There are objectives that have fallen. The Rift Herald went the way of Catch and his team, but they weren't even able to take out a turret, whereas Varus got even more gold, taking out the First Blood turret, plus all the plates in the bottom lane. So things looking really good for that Varus to scale up and have fun in this game.
And it's another game where ES Sharks comp, it's not as hard as game 1's play, but still double AD, really no frontline, so this is tricky.
Oh, he's just going in, he killed him! How did that even happen? He's 2 levels up, and he's not gonna stop there, unfortunately. He took turret aggro, but it looks like C's, no. Okay, they're gonna give that over to the Jarvan. Thought maybe the arrow would take him out, but another kill goes to the Varus.
It just feels like Jin Air backhanding ES Sharks in real life and saying, who's drafting scaling against us? We can take you in the early game and make you pay. Backhand, open hand, I don't know which way it is, but slaps. They are deadly. It feels like a Comet Varus building lethality, but this is just an ahead on-hit Varus.
This is gonna feel like one of those games in the past where you would build that scaling AD item and you're just miles ahead. He went to the top lane and took out, I believe, almost all the plates up in the top lane, probably 3 more for the Varus there. You can see the goal difference now is over 3,000.
Yeah. Well,
we're almost reaching Infinity Edge levels.
You know what? If you want to watch the LCK and watch LPL, it feels like a race on both ends, because we've definitely got winners and losers so far in this series. Jin Air's really, really far ahead. And ES Sharks, yes, Galio can face check, so they at least have someone to face check in this game. But, oh boy, this is looking tricky as the game goes on, because they need items that are never going to come when things like this come.
I love this. He's just under turret, doesn't care, knows he has the Tahm Kench behind him to just cleanse the taunt. Unfortunately, he takes turret aggro, otherwise GuGer was just going to die straight up to him. Dies anyway. He's just like, thank you, you have enough kills. We don't want to give you even more of a streak, which, by the way, is at 900, or 800, I guess, in the old system. So, it's a lot.
Think back to game number 1, and Jin Air found it hard to close because they didn't have someone to face again. And both games, ES Sharks have had a tank. It was Tahm Kench game number 1. This time they have the Galio. But they've got the double AD who need time. And the time is really, really perilous, given that Rageblade is going to be online pre-17 minutes. That is ultra scary. And who's going to get to the Varus if not for a very creative insect? They're going to have trouble.
Don't know how they're going to do it. That or some kind of, flash taunt play by the Galio, and that's going to require both Root and Nova out of position without cleanse, which, by the way, is almost available. You can see that Light in Game 1 was able to frontline a little bit more with his Tahm Kench. He doesn't have Tahm Kench anymore. He's definitely playing with his tail way between his legs, especially after that last play.
Well, given that right now it feels like ES Sharks are smarting from all the slaps we talked about and taking their time, we should probably discuss some news, since we haven't mentioned it on stream just yet, in case you guys have missed Reddit and Twitter. Prey has announced his official retirement. Of course, there was him stepping away from pro play in 2014, stepped away again after Kings of Dragon X. We wondered if he would ever return. KT fans hoped and hoped, but this one's actually hit me like a sack of bricks a bit, Valdez, because Prey is one of those players that sold you on watching Korean League of Legends. He's someone who in Season 2 was a massive superstar. So given that my favorite casting memory is Prey popping off, flashing in on Ashe in in the Rocks Tigers versus SKT World semi-final that I was lucky enough to be in Madison Square Garden on the analyst desk. There's people retiring, like Insect retiring was sad because Insect Kick and what a legend he was. Prey is like on the Korean Mount Rushmore of players. This top lane, Kuzan gonna try to make this game about ESS.
Unavailable. Kuzan gets in there, has to flash away. Nice moves here by C's though, but the damage not there until the Kennen gets in range. That Devour though gonna save his life. And hey, you know who's got damage? The 7-0 Varus.
And that's what happens, ESS. If you want to stop my story about Prey, you're gonna take a lot of pain for it.
Yeah.
Oh, the backup comes through, the cavalry comes in. Talk about Prey, says Jin Air, because talking about Jin Air feels a bit cruel given how big the lead is right now.
This game feels like it's pretty much in the bag. I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do against this Varus when they are this far behind. The 80 carry difference down 2 levels and probably over 4,000 gold now. Don't think Light's feeling great.
Now, you were a caster of the LCK in Season 2 when Prey was one of the big stars out here. Do you remember anyone like Loco Doto or other people talking about Prey as a player? Because he had a big reputation even before the LCS era started in 2013.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, he was always kind of in the forefront, being one of those big players that everybody was talking about as one of the better guys, but
Kuzan, you know, you see why Hexdrinker works against some of these mages. You can make things happen, but when everything lost around you, even the solo moments for Kuzan aren't enough.
Abyssal Voyage to bring the turret to the fight, as Root is unbelievably bad.
I love listening to Cloud Temple and Dongjin like, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the gusto that was there in Jump Show.
Did it again.
I mean, Kuzan's trying something. Remember, he's the one against his old orcs, so he's got the biggest axe to grind against Jin Air after leaving them at the end of 2017. But seeming like right now, even his, you know, pretty serrated axe is not going to be enough with the 5 axes available. The side of Jin Air, he's got his Hexdrinker core, but that means the recurve bow is late. That means the Zeal into Rapid Fire Cannon is late. That means the Infinity Edge probably never comes. So that's an unfortunate one. So much punishment available with all the TPs on the side of Jin Air. But yeah, everyone has their favorite Prey moment. So shout out to him. It's not quite the match day to do it. We don't quite have the victory laps. In a lot of sports, you get to, you know, have a victory lap. I'd love to see him come back and talk to the fans at Love Park one last time, because even just as a showman and personality, his checking the power level, taunt, he really is one of those characters that will never be forgotten. If you ask me who's on the Korean Mount Rushmore, it's FLICKR and Mad Life and Prey. Put those 3 up there. There's people hard done by, but no one could say any of those 3 should be excluded.
Would have to agree. I was reading some of the threads, and someone mentioned actually Prey and Peanut on 10 questions, 10 answers.
Yes!
With Jisun.
Go on that, watch
Another
that Spo
huge
TV production. That is a
Prey
hilarious one. The one with FLICKR. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch 10 questions, 10 answers from last year with Peanut and Prey. Prey's shout out to FLICKR. Another legendary Prey moment.
Off the rift and on the rift is what you were talking about, and that's definitely one that comes to mind. I remember just laughing hysterically after seeing it the first time in the studio. Definitely a really great moment. And
we need more characters like that. There aren't many characters like Prey. There aren't many people who could talk the talk, walk the walk, and then look so damn stylish doing it. So we definitely lost something with that retirement. We'd lose something if Jin Air was to go down, as there's all those glad planes on the back burner. No English broadcast for challengers. So if you're feeling sentimental, you want to see Jin Air win, and right now it's looking pretty good as bot lane for Kennen.
Well, finally the solo laners on the side of the Sharks are trying to take it into their own hands. I mean, that's just a straight up solo kill. And unfortunately, again, that's not AP Kennen, so the ult doesn't do much. And just the straight up burst damage from the Gangplank is enough.
And if the Varus is not there, there are people who don't have those thick wallets that are ready to smack into your face. You can actually try to find plays now with Hexdrinker done on Corki and Gangplank to just chase after members. There's no rage play done yet. This Kennen doesn't have as much threat just yet. So with the outnumbering, ES Sharks are finding things across the map and keeping the gold lead honest when it was a threat of just going sky high a few minutes ago.
Feels real bad when you use your lightning rush and your on-hit Kennen up against a Gangplank. Gets hit by that barrel chain, and I think from that moment he knew he was dead.
1,000 gold and bounty in the old system. Current system feeling pretty good. Is good old Root. Steals away a Raptors, that kind of game for them. But again, can Jin Air actually make it about this duo? Now, it should be pretty straightforward. Cinderhawk, Jarvan walks Baron. Good things can happen. That's a lot of respect being shown.
Seems like I've had too perfect of a series so far.
I'm not going to be throw. Yeah. I'm not going to throw.
I'm not going to be the guy.
They need to be able to put down the forward vision and start a Baron. Cease, hello?
Yeah. Also, we did have another flash by Light, who was just desperately trying to avoid this Varus at any cost.
You do wonder. Focus Varus. Varus dies. Does ES Sharks win a fight? Your first thought is maybe with on-hit Kennen and Syndra just being unable to fully take a team fight by the grip of its neck. Usually she's more about killing one person. So given that, ES Sharks do have reasons to keep going, and they have double 80 carry GP, so they have 3 threats like they did in game number 1. So get a couple more flashes, Jin Air mess up a Baron, Varus dies. Maybe there's something down the line for ES Sharks.
Mentioned it in the beginning of the series, how Root is mechanically skilled, but sometimes the decision-making is not quite there. I think with experience, this guy is actually going to be a mainstay and quite a good player in the LCK, given a year or so, but I wonder how he feels just being the main guy, the main carry. Can he handle the pressure and do the carrying by himself and not make any mistakes when it's this important?
It's one of those things where you judge a new player in the LCK on quite a lot of parameters. How good is he at pressing his buttons? Does he understand how to move around? Does he solo die a lot like Ruler did in 2016 Summer? I would say no for Root, but does he have, you know, cold ice pumping through his veins in team fights where he needs to be the hard carry? I would say no. I don't think he's there yet. I do think he kind of understands the occasion and feels the burden of being a carry in those, you know, 1v9 games that sometimes Jin Air 80 carries fall into. That's understandable. He is new, but given that, you're never quite sure until the Fat Lady sings and the enemy Nexus explodes.
Look at this guy just frontlining, nearly kills the support, but can he get out of this one? Looks like the answer will be yes. Nice redemption too for the entire team as they're really trying to force this fight. Jisu trying to frontline, messes up the barrel chain while Lindarang is looking to take down a turret.
And it feels like the Cannon Barrage didn't get enough value because they can't use it to ult the minion wave in bots. The Cannon keeps pushing, and Jin Air's actually pushing ESS into them.
Oh, we're looking for a fight here. Sees pretty low, and Lindarang doesn't want to face check himself straight in there, so no fight actually going to occur.
Back away, again, the looming threat of the Cannon isn't what we've seen in basically every other recent Cannon game. He needs to start whacking away, and with Rageblade, we need to talk about how he needs to warm up beforehand on a minion wave or some enemy champions before he starts to abuse on-hit damage on the W, on-hit damage on the Rageblade, and also the Phantom hit. So because of that, backs away, no harm, no foul. ES Sharks don't get what they want. Notice the bot lane in a turret didn't die, so another couple of times like that before Jin Air start threatening the base.
Jin Air, 25 minutes into this game, up 5,000 gold this time. Doesn't feel like they're on as much of a timer. They do have some scaling elements in. Of course, still going up against Kaisa, Corki, GP, which can be scary as the game does go along. More uninteresting drakes as well. Sorry, Cloud and Ocean. Just piling them on today. Did rain a little bit today in the morning, so maybe that's the reason. Not sure.
So, how did Jin Air win? We asked the question in game number 1. Took them a while. They eventually got there. This one is way easier. They had the Soraka comp in game number 1. That's why things slowed down. Walk at the Baron. Kennen and Varus start hitting it. And you could also have Kennen in the side lanes. Not necessarily, but let's say both of them. Oh, mid lane.
Not wasting any time with this one. The package is in full effect. Root, he's on the opposite side trying to kite them down.
He's dead.
But he's going to go down here by himself alongside the Tahm. Kench double kill, though, does go the way of Grace, who TPs into the fight and is able to make it an even fight in the end, but that big bounty does get taken by someone on the side here of the Sharks.
The shutdown is the 2019 reality, and it's a big one, like you say, for the Sharks. They also get summoners, all summoners down on Root and Nova. What I was about to get to is make it about warming up the Rage Bait on the Baron. Jarvan and Tahm Kench can tank it forever, then turn with your huge damage. They don't do that. They solo push down mid lane, and they get punished in a big way.
That they did so many times of Root. You know, just being able to stand his ground and fight up against the members of Jin Air. Now, we do have the rest of Jin Air actually going for a big rotation. Sees just flashing on over, has that stone plate, trying to delay this one and make it a big one. Gets the knockup on the Kaisa. He's going to go down, as well as the Lee Sin, and 2 kills immediately go the way of Jin Air.
Able to TP in on Root, and also Abyssal Voyage on Nova. 5-man rotation bot side. They're pinging straight on Baron. Smite dead for 30. Seems like a good ping, but Jisu not going to allow the minion waves to push in.
They decide against it once they see the GP is not positioned. They're like, okay, well, we could probably do this 5v3, but it's even easier 5v2. They're just going to push in and essentially take a free inhibitor. Nothing that Kuzan and GuGer alone can do to stop this push.
At least they get a big objective. An inhibitor, especially the mid lane inhibitor, gives them a lot more reliability in their Baron setup. That's the last piece of the puzzle that Jin Air need to be quoted on. Can they get the Baron that's honestly begging for them at this point? Gonna see the replay of what was going on. This is the mid lane all in. It's really greedy to be whacking away on that ward that far up with no ability to rotate quickly. Yes, teleports are up, but we're talking quickly. So it's a lot of gold that goes the enemy way, but the aggressive teleport, I assume onto the flag, was the reason they were in position for this. No, it was actually just onto the ward next to Drake. They pile in, and C says, I'm flashing. As long as I Cataclysm, there's plenty of that.
Double flash immediately out of that Cataclysm, but it doesn't save too many lives. And it's double flash and double kill does become the reality. I heard the Korean caster screaming. I thought maybe there was some action in live, but looks like we're just farming for now and still waiting for Jin Air to be confident enough to start that Baron play you were mentioning.
You shouldn't need back rubs to feel confident here. Again, you have a Cinder Hulk Jarvan with Stoneplate. Tank it forever. Tahm Kench can help. You have Redemption for the turn. And when you turn, the warmed up double on hits from Root will kill everyone. So that's the equation here. But with the on-hit cannon, you get into some awkward comms where you're like, maybe we can't teamfight. It's not an AP cannon. But I don't think that's relevant here because of how strong this Varus is. I assume it's going to be, I mean, you could go Infinity Edge here. You could also go Bloodthirster for just the most lifesteal ever.
Yeah.
With the on-hit likely to be warmed up. They're taking extra liberties. You look at the inventories here, and control wards right now aren't as plentiful as you might want. No control ward controlling the river, only the control ward onto the actual Baron.
The long push continues for Lindarang, who is trying to hunt out Light, actually, in the bottom lane. Decided against it, just went back, picked up his Phantom Dancer, and is going to return to the lane. Looks like Kuzan with TP is going to handle this lane, as GP is currently in the top lane, so he'll be on this duty. He's looking for his own item, that Infinity Edge, once again. Similar timing is very, very close before he does pick that up.
People who watch Counter-Strike are familiar with the concept of in-game leaders who can actually be that sixth voice or further voice on the comms. We'll hold that point.
Trying to get over the wall here, but the Chains of Corruption do land as...
That's a bold flash from Nova. The flash lick play, not super effective. The reason why I bring up IGLs is to be a sixth member who can get on comms, to be the coach of Jin Air, Coach Han, a former kickboxing champion, I believe, and come in and just say, guys, do the Baron, because that's what you need. If there's the potential for the voices, remember they got like 5 Barons all LCK because the team didn't win a lot, so they didn't get a lot of access to Baron. So they're probably like, the only place we could throw is Baron. But actually you want to get on the headset and be like, guys, take the Baron. It is set up for you guys to take it. You have the better Baron team. You can turn off Baron with the Varus Rage Blade, and also, if you don't make it about Baron and the game goes long enough, you fail one fight, you lose the game. So this is a Baron that they need to take, because otherwise it becomes an even game, which it should not be. And right now they haven't got the right vision around this, and they only now know they're in vision.
Kind of just milling around and not clearing out the wards. They all go top lane as 4 to push, you know, 3 minions that are alone. You can see it is very obvious. You don't need to be a expert of League of Legends to tell that Jin Air look really uncomfortable when they're this far ahead.
How do the best teams play from ahead in the 2019 meta? They take the 60-40s and 70-30s when they need to, and they're aggressive enough that sometimes it's not even an equation because it's 100-0 while the enemy is too far gone. Jin Air is not a team that has been forced to play from ahead in the 2019 meta very often. They're trying to be clean, and they're a slow team to begin with. They can just have Varus tank the Baron. He's got the most lifesteal ever in the build the moment he gets the double hits off. But they're trying to find this safe play with no chance of being turned around. And that means that Jin Air is only escaping with the minimum of advantages. When the door is wide open, the breeze is coming in, and still they're being very safety first.
It's extremely slow play. It's the Jin Air style, but generally they are used to losing slowly and just bleeding out. This time around, they don't know what to do with the lead. The Infernal is going to help, especially with the late game and the insane amount of items that especially Varus has. But not only him, the Syndra, the Kennen, they're all going to benefit quite a lot from that Drake.
I would love to see Lindarang step up, because even though he's in the 4-1, he's the one who's done the most winning of these players. He was on a Humble Live team that finished 6th into 6th. His experience at top lane, he may not be the overall shot caller, but someone needs to step up as a veteran voice and say, this is how we win this game. And if nobody does it, it goes to 45 minutes. Anything can happen, and then the first 20 minutes means nothing, and Jin Air could lose a very winnable game.
I kind of want to walk down the stairs and tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey guys, by the way, you know, we don't have all night here, right? You guys want to start the Baron anytime soon, or are we just going to chill around and let the Sharks catch up?
And that's not us with dinner plans. That's us frustrated with how well Jin Air has played early games.
Yeah, exactly.
And the game 1 stall out, we say, okay, it was Soraka, it was hard. This one's easier, and this is the one where actually you want to get some tough love to Jin Air.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we're just waiting. You know, it's not like they can wait for mountain drakes or anything like that. You know, the Elder is going to come up. Are they going to wait for a chance for the Sharks to trade objectives or something? You got a bunch of the members on the side of the Sharks with these gigantic item timings of their own. I mean, it's triple Infinity Edge now on the side of the Sharks. It didn't have to get this late, Papa.
No, they were so far. We were talking about everything but the game because wait for Jin Air to close it. But this is why when suddenly you feel like you were able to talk about multiple topics and the game is still going, you're like, wait, what's happening here? And what's happening here is that ES Sharks are bloodlessly, slowly getting back into the game because Jin Air is finally having Root solo it like we mentioned.
Yeah. It's like, all right.
It's so easy.
I'm just going to do it myself, guys.
He's going to solo the back. That's what's going to happen. This is the lull state, the true Jin Air state. The capital of the lull state, it's Jin Air GreenWings. ES Sharks are like, wait, what's going on here? They do not know it's being soloed until now.
Now it's down to 5,000. Chains of Corruption, but a big GP ultimate immediately gets in there. And it looks like, okay, just GuGer is going to go down and the Baron will reset. But they do get a big engage tool away from the Sharks by killing that Galio.
All right, stop Catch getting in the pit. That's all you have to do here. TP coming in. We could have a fiesta for all time's sake, Valdez.
Catch goes over the wall and essentially gives it on up. That barrel is not going to steal it, of course, not in range. And finally, 36 minutes into the game, Jin Air are able to pick up a Baron.
This is a Baron that took a lot of work from Jin Air. Some good, a lot bad, but they got there in the end. Tortoise in the hair. Tortoise gets there eventually, and the race could be won by the ultimate League of Legends global Tortoise, the Jin Air GreenWings. They get the turn here, and you see how easy it is because they have a warmed-up Rage Blade. They have tanks. It's so easy to turn off Baron Valdez, but It's not that easy to take Baron when it's kind of an unexplored objective for Jin Air GreenWings in 2019.
Kuzan desperately trying to do damage. He does have 4 items, but now with the Baron, it's going to be much more difficult. This feels like game number 1, where they finally got the Baron, and it was right before the Elder with a minute essentially to spare. And knowing Jin Air, I don't think they're going to push or anything. They're just going to wait for Elder and take it. If
that was their comms, then maybe we have to extend the slapping. Because if the comms are pre-game of just wait for the Elder, Baron, power spike, then it is quintessential Jin Air, but it's unnecessary. Lindarang has a lot of lifesteal as well. Is this the most team lifesteal we're going to see? I guess no Kindred to maybe have a third lifestealer, but we're up there.
Okay, Cannon Barrage going to come on in and seize. Nice flash taunt.
They kill Rude.
Got that Cataclysm coming on in, but down he will go finally after so much damage, but it doesn't matter as the Sharks are going to find 3.
Well, they're trying to play multiple lanes and they didn't have teleports. That's what we call a rookie mistake. They walk up and here we go. Grace and Lindarang do a lot of damage. They got no front line, and Jin Air messed up their first Baron.
What is going on here? Grace and Lindarang alone are desperately trying to catch them, but now we have an Elder that's on the map. Thanks, Jin Air, you waited until the Elder spawned. Now you know all inhibitors are up. You have 5 versus 2 because you got caught, and the Sharks might just come back.
And it was so simple. It's not just blow them up before 4.5-second teleports. Jin Air didn't have teleport, and they chose to play multiple lanes. Could have just played down 1 lane, at least play down 2, but never play 3 lanes. They were a 4-1 comp. They took teleport, that's fine on Grace, but playing 3 lanes, that was not the way to go. And Light saying, maybe I can catch Lindarang.
Oh, he's going to land that one as Light, thinking about getting on in there, finally is going to use that ultimate. Lindarang desperately trying to get the 1 kill, and he doesn't even. Does a nice chunk of damage to Jisu with Grace coming on in, so made the best of a rough situation.
Alrighty, this one could actually be one of those good and honest slobber knockers that goes long.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
Again, consider the comp. You have Syndra, who usually doesn't silence, doesn't take teleport. Kennen doesn't have teleport. The Syndra with teleport doesn't have teleport. Don't play 1-3-1 when the enemy team can try and engage. They get the engage off, they kill the 3 members in mid, and while Kennen's hopping mad, he shows up when 3 are dead.
And this is after they know they don't have TP, but I feel like the cherry on top is the fact that they hear the Corki package too, and they're like, huh, maybe we could get engaged on. Nah, we're gonna be fine. And then the 3 of them push down mid and, the package just goes over all 3 of them. It's like, really?
Well, here's the story. Jin Air was so far ahead in the early game. Remember that 3,100 gold lead among 80 carries? Well, it's probably still there to some degree, but yeah, we get the confirmation now. It's, now a 4.3k gold lead, but what is the old caster point from Color Casters Season 2 onwards? In the late game, gold means almost nothing. Well, let me introduce you to 6-item Gangplank, almost 6-item Corki, and almost 6-item Light. They have 3 Infinity Edge carries are going to be at 50% crit at minimum, rolling around, and then if you try to make a teleport play, the chances of 1 person dying to 3 IE crits is way higher.
Yeah.
And ES Sharks have taken the government bailout, in this case a Jin Air bailout. I guess in the lull state bailouts are pretty common. And capital of the lull state, Jin Air. Maybe the lulls will be at Jin Air rather than with them, because we could be coming into a tied series coming into game number 3.
Well, Sharks, you can see they're a lot more confident now as they're coming on in with all their items, double GA. They have massive stacked items on all of their carries, and this is no longer a game where, that Varus that got miles ahead is going to matter, or anything like that.
No, the Varus actually behind is not an IE carry in the late game. These builds don't scale as well. So
it's like
no IEs versus 3 is pretty,
Somebody made a joke in a Reddit thread about how Jin Air are actually the 400 IQ. They actually go straight to the final match to get as much practice as possible before going back into LCK. And I was thinking about it, and you know, they really don't have stage experience where they're ahead that often. So this is actually good practice. I just hope they don't lose because of the practice. And especially when they were so far ahead, it would feel really weird to have that happen.
But it is a problem of their own creation, so while you might have some empathy, I think the sympathy is pretty minimal because they should have found a way. It was pretty straightforward. If we as casters know it, players who play scrims and get it drilled into them by their coaching staff should know it as well. Still an honest 5v5 though, and if you just play a better 5v5, maybe you learn nothing and go up 2-0. Anything's possible.
It would be very Jin Air. We just gotta wait until after 50 minutes. It would make more sense. You can see that the guys on the side of Jin Air do insane damage. Grace is gonna 100-0 the AD carry, and like you mentioned, they might just be able to pick up a fight here after all the mistakes and win the game, although the Cannon Barrage did quite a nice amount of damage. Missile Voyage canceled there.
I think Light just didn't understand his scenario and ended up in flash ult range of a Syndra at 42 minutes. That should never happen. Syndra just assassinated the AD carry.
Flashed on him in the face of the entire team.
Because they were flanked, they were in a flanking position. Kai'Sa can fly from anywhere. You don't have to be within embrace range of a Syndra. Jin Air turn on to Baron. ES Sharks should probably be running towards prepping Elder. They can't start it. It's a minute away.
See that Jisu helps out with the Baron. Nice little leash there. And man, this game, not the highest level League of Legends we've had here on this broadcast so far.
He doesn't even have a ball. Consider the spot here. Corki's on one side. Grace just gets a stun, really nice stun from Grace, and he dies instantly. QSS isn't going to save you against Syndra, so you got to position against the threats you can answer. With your tanks, you can QSS a CC that hits you unluckily, but you can't do anything else as the Kai'Sa, so really weird split from Sharks, and I think they just, in the scene, kind of froze up. That feels like the Petrify in the wrong spot, and suddenly Jin Air get a Baron that should have been way harder for it. And now, we're 30 seconds away from the Elder.
It's that, you know, the famous Jin Air strategy. They only go for objectives when the Baron is going to be taken a minute before Elder, and they can get both pushed to win the game.
Jin Air is so good, I can't appreciate that's how good they are.
It's just next level, you know? Never seen anything quite this level here on the broadcast. As I hope you guys can hear the dripping sarcasm as we do go along. This Elder is going to be coming in. It's not going to be the Super Elder, as the Sharks got the first one somehow.
I mean, it could be the Super Elder if the Sharks steal.
Sure,
this one. This would be a high-value steal, that's for sure. But how do you get there is what the Sharks are struggling with.
Oh boy.
Rest in peace.
Syndra does a lot of damage,
now,
but he's not dead, yeah. He still has that smite button available.
They saw him going behind the pit with the ward. Just poke him to death.
Okay, well, we do have the split push going on as well, as Kennen is going to be taking out this inhibitor. See, Corki's going back, but Cannon Barrage is coming in. As the rest of the Sharks, they want to engage. Ult is going to take down the GA, but that's about it. It's going to go down to maybe a trade if Catch can get in range. Q comes in. He's not going to go for that trade or that steal. As a Missile Voyage now, they're looking to catch up to the rest of the members. Nice
on the burn. Got it!
Burn is going to take him down. And here's Kennen from behind. Hello. We're going to be looking to take some more fights down, but it was 3-on-2 there for a moment. It's Lindarang going to have his OGA pop, but either way, Baron and Elder, Jin Air are pushing for the win.
Exactly, 3-stack Elder may not be the double stack, but it's enough. On to Root, this should be the game ending. Jin Air, you know what, they mired, they conspired, but they got there in the end, unless there's a big fight back.
Syndra is just doing insane damage right now. Can't even get in range of them right at this moment. So, 2 games are going to go the way of Jin Air. It wasn't the cleanest League of Legends, but it was very Jin Air League of Legends, and they made it work to take the 2-0 so far.
And you know what? Jin Air has always done it their way. We may have our exceptions with their slow gameplay, but the Tortoise was able to get through. The Tortoise somehow got a sprint off at the start, which is really weird, actually, so the analogy gets muddied, but at the end of the day, they get over the line. No more apt spirit animal for Jin Air, and then a Tortoise, but the Tortoise ends up winning this one, and ES Sharks has gone greedy scaling and gotten to the late game. The cost in the early game has been too much, and you just feel like lane counterpicks and more early game oomph might be able to take down Jin Air, who whatever they pick get into the mid game and seem a little bit at a loss to how to close out a game.
You get ahead as the Sharks, you know, put Kuzan and Jisu onto something a little bit more aggressive. You'll notice that a lot of the bans in the second banning phases are Jace, Akali, a lot of this aggressive stuff in lane, and so far Jisu plays 2 games to Gangplank. I feel like his Gangplank mechanics are good, but not quite that early game oomph you're looking for.
All it can do is ult bot lane, and around light they haven't been able to find inroads either. Also, they're really weird drafts here, so unfortunately Soul Strike's on blast a bit because they still haven't been finding many winning lanes. Starters. Even in this game, the Varus Tahm Kench against the Kai'Sa lane was going to be very, very comfortable for the Varus, so they're making it hard for themselves, and in bootstrapping themselves into scaling, maybe they're also the ones missing conspicuous windows where right now, Jin Air are showing they're leaving the car keys on the till right now, and if you don't steal them, then by the end of the game, seems like they're driving off into the sunset to LCK Summer 2019.
Well, this damage makes a lot of sense, as the Varus did about 5,000 away from triple the damage of the Kai'Sa, so had a pretty nice game. I thought the Syndra damage would be a little bit more, especially at the end, but it was really just all that end game damage. And you can see that little gap towards the end of the gold graph where it's like, oh, maybe the Sharks come back, but not quite.
A lot of these graphs to 20 minutes are the same, but after 20 minutes you're seeing a leveling off, and that is time where the greedy 3 Infinity Edges come online, so it's time for Jin Air to mess up. It's time. You can guarantee where they will mess up, judging on this series, but it's 2-0 Jin Air, and suddenly 3 match points going to be very hard for ES Sharks to turn.
Based on what we've seen so far, it doesn't really feel like they're coming up to play tonight up against Jin Air. Jin Air absolutely look like the better team, even amongst a bunch of their mistakes. The early game has been going well. They've been able to take a couple of wins, so props to them. They need one more to get back into the LCK. It wouldn't be the full amount of practice games I was talking about before, but would certainly be nice. We'll see if they can do it after the break.